I had a stalker my senior year of high school, and that may come as a surprise to some of you, either because you see the way I am now and you wonder how anyone would want to have that much to do with me, or maybe it's just because I'm a nobody and I was in high school. I think the thing that got all of it started is that I helped this girl who was in a really bad situation, and I don't regret helping her. Like, that was a really messed up situation, and I won't go into too much detail just out of respect for her as a person, but that event happened the summer leading into my senior year of high school. Soon after that, she got to know me a little bit more than she did before and was asking me like what classes I was taking going into the next semester. One of those classes I was taking was yearbook. The first day of yearbook, I was looking around the class and I saw her there, but I didn't really think much of it just because historically yearbook isn't like a guy dominated class. It's definitely a lot of girls. And at the beginning of the class, we were doing like the normal icebreakers. I'm sitting there like, hi, I'm Julian. I'm the kid that tore my MCL while doing the whip. If you haven't seen that video, check it out. And then we get to the girl I was talking before. Let's call her Delilah. After Delilah introduced herself, she looked at me and went, and I waved back. I didn't think anything of it. I had no reason to believe that anything was up with her. But slowly as the semester went on, things just started to get weirder and weirder. She started texting me a bunch, and like, to be honest, I wasn't really interested. I had my own thing going on and I wasn't trying to mess that up. But she would constantly try to reach out to me and try to hang out, and like, I really didn't want to. In the first month of the first semester of my senior year, my school was gonna be on the morning news and we had to wake up early and shoot something at 5 or 6 in the morning. And of course I was required to be there because of the yearbook. We went there and we did the event, and some people went back home and ate breakfast or went to sleep, and a couple of the other people in yearbook didn't have a way back home. So we all kind of hung out in the yearbook room for a little bit and we were all super tired. Eventually it was just me, Delilah, and one of her friends. And they were playing music on one of the desktops that was in there. And I don't think there was an actual correlation, but funnily enough, she played Just Hold On, We're Going Home by Drake. That's the one that's like, but eventually there's still like an hour and 45 minutes before classes start and we're all tired. So we all go to sleep, and we weren't gonna sleep on the chairs. We all kind of slept spread apart on the floor. We were all kind of in our respective corners. When I woke up, Delilah was sitting in a chair closest to me and told me not 10 seconds after I woke up, hey, did you know you mumble in your sleep sometimes? And I was like, no. Again, I didn't really think she was like a complete weirdo. I just thought it was kind of a weird experience. There was a point where I was just kind of sick of texting her and I wouldn't respond to her. And like, yeah, in retrospect, maybe I should have said like, hey, I don't want to talk to you, but I don't know a way to say that doesn't sound mean. And there was a point where she reached out to my sister and told her to tell me to respond to her texts. Now it's getting a little weird. There was one point where I was walking home from school and she decided to walk with me, and we got to my house. She looked at it and asked me which window was to my room. And I thought that was really weird, so I didn't really answer the question. Fast forward a little bit more into my senior year, and all of these things are persisting and continuing on. But unfortunately for me, I actually came down with something in November of that year, and it wasn't the flu. If you guys don't know, I actually had cancer my senior year of high school. I'm good now though, but I remember my first day of chemo was like particularly bad. I had an allergic reaction to one of the drugs and I believe I had a seizure. They put me on a bunch of stuff to kind of mitigate the effects. They gave me like 2 Benadryl, 3 500 milligram Tylenol, and morphine. So I was out for about 14 hours. A little bit before I like fully woke up, a doctor was walking in and I was just drooling all over myself. And he's like, how we feeling, Julian? And I'm like, good. But when I finally actually woke up, it was because the door was opening. Now, the way the room was laid out, I had a giant curtain right in front of my bed and I could see the shoes of whoever was coming in. I got pretty good at guessing who was coming in based on the shoes that were under the curtain. I saw like some comfortable Nike runners and I was like, yep, this is a nurse. I'm feeling nice and safe and secure in my bed. Tell me why the person who turns the corner of the curtain is this girl, Delilah. I don't know how she knew I was in that particular hospital, and I don't know how she knew my room, nor how she got in. But she comes in and she has all these gifts, and I can just make out on one of them that it says from the yearbook staff. And I ask about it and she kind of pulls it away and she's like, oh no, but I got you gifts. She had her own bag of stuff that she got me and a personalized letter that she said to read when she wasn't there. I was doing the whole like, oh, you don't have to, oh God. And she insisted, and I opened all the gifts and they were actually nice. But after that, she's just kind of sitting at my bedside, like caressing kissing me, and I'm super uncomfortable, but not like uncomfortable enough to call the nurses and tell them to have her like escorted out or whatever. And she sits there with me for about an hour and a half, and I'm intentionally being the most boring, dry person I could possibly be. Before she leaves, she asks if she can get a hug, and I was really not feeling it. I was still probably high on the morphine they gave me. It was given to me through an IV in a port that was connected to the largest artery in my body. So she asked for this hug, and I'm saying no. I'm like, oh, like I haven't showered in X amount of time. I'm all sweaty and gross. And she's like, I don't care. I don't care. So I finally agree to the hug. And when we do hug, she gives me like a forehead peck, and I cringe, but I'm just happy it's over. She leaves, and that's the end of that. The letter was kind of boring, no offense. And some of these things persist for a couple months, but I felt like she was almost getting the hint of me just being dry and boring. So that was all November. Fast forward to late February, and I'm doing much better health-wise, and I like go public about my relationship that I just started at the time. The first interaction I got from that post was a DM from her, and it said, I can't believe you did this without telling me. I don't know what she wanted, but after that, all the interactions kind of ceased, and I was glad. People generally don't believe me when I tell them that I've had a stalker, and I wouldn't believe me either. This was just a weird set of perfect circumstances. Definitely not perfect for me.